the DNA. I'd say there's so many people mixed up in this party house bed. I mean, of course, everybody kind of DNA.
Yeah.
It's star mix. It's all mixed up. You ever heard
And I would just call 7
that
witnesses.
ain't DNA.
I would call 7 witnesses, all with bushy eyebrows.
Right. Cell
All from
phone.
Idaho.
You know, the reality of the cell phone data, one of the things that you always get to attack is they never bring the actual, so there's like intellectual property behind cell phone data, okay? And so what the prosecutors do is the companies never want to come tell you exactly how they can ping someone to a spot. What they do instead is take an officer, put him on the stand and say he hooked it up to a box, this black box, and the box popped out this data that said Amy was across the street. But that's not the science of it, right? All the officer did was hook up the box. Where is the testimony about what
How the
the
box works.
All right.
Yeah.
And so if I'm a defense attorney, I'd attack the science. I should go to law school. Oh my goodness.
And I think we're going to see it.
That's fascinating, though.
I
That's
know
awesome.
that the defense attorney is going to say he wants to be exonerated if he wants to plead not guilty, because that's his choice. But I think people who want to be serial killers, they want a trial.
Right.
They want the show,
That's
and they
true.
want to revel in the disgustingness of what they did. And so I think he's going to, for sure, stick with his not guilty and make his defense attorney
Speaking of
attack
defense
the science.
attorney, have y'all heard about this defense attorney? There is absolutely can be an ethical dilemma for her. From what I
Is this his
understand,
attorney?
his defense attorney is a public defender, and from what I understand, she is the only one who's death penalty certified in the state of Idaho. In public
What does that
defenders.
mean? Death penalty certified.
So you have to be certified to defend someone in a
That
death
is-
penalty case.
Idaho is a gigantic state.
Very tiny. So, the bar, very
thought
tiny
it was a
bar.
big state.
It's a big
Is it
state
not?
with a tiny bar.
Got it.
Because it's very densely, not densely,
There's a lot of
very rural.
I'm
and
like,
not
how
densely
I
populated.
can't wrap my head around how we only have one PD death penalty certified. Like,
For the record, I don't want to ever be death penalty certified in anything. Prosecution,
just
defense, or anything,
feels
not
like-
it. I don't want to touch it.
You've got to have more
But
than one option.
You do, yeah.
Right.
So, and I don't know if that's in the state or in that region or whatever, but that's what they have said. And she's a really great lawyer, but this is the issue that has come up, is that she represented the victims' families over the years.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I think 2 or 3 of the victims in this case, they had represented their estranged mother, I think a dad in one of the cases.
Yeah, I did see
that kind of thing.
The one victim
So I think that's
had a
total.
mother who had a lot of problems
That's a
in the criminal justice system.
Interesting.
huge ethical dilemma for that defense attorney. They say she's a total badass.
Well,
And I do appreciate
well, they're gonna have
straight
to-
female attorneys.
I know you
but
do.
I think that's going to be a hard thing because I think that's going to be
crazy.
Well, what
going
do
to
you
come
do
up.
in something like that?
They got to find another attorney. Well,
Can you choose someone from another state, or they have to be?
well, that's what I mean. That's
They're going to make
so,
an exception somehow, or someone's going to get certified.
At trial lawyers college, I didn't realize in the Midwest they give out the death, like in South Carolina, we've had like a handful of death penalty cases in the last 20 years. It's just reserved for just like the worst of the worst of the worst. But I met so many attorneys who did death penalty cases. That's all they did. Like, God bless you. Like to do that day in and day out, I couldn't imagine.
and there are some total badasses.
They are the totalist of all the badasses. to
to
fight
represent
for someone's
someone
life.
who could get the death penalty is like literally having that person's life in your
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's just
Just gives me anxiety thinking about it.
Yeah.
But I would think that they would try to bring in someone else, right? Even if it's from out of state, because they can pro hoc in and then have someone there that knew the local rules. Because that's absolutely. So
They'll
even
get
though I'm not
somebody
barred,
else.
like let's say in North Carolina or Georgia, if I have an attorney in North Carolina or Georgia, or Idaho in this case, if they'll vouch for me, and then I can go in under their license. It's called pro hoc vice. And we try the case together.
That's interesting. That's super
we'll
interesting.
see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm
whoever his
interested.
attorney is, he's going to put them through it. I can imagine.
Well, and you
He's going to be the
said-
smartest guy in the room no matter what, right?
That's what they say. He has to be the smartest ever. So that's
Well,
going to be a
Charlie, you
task.
said how you would kind of attack the technology in something like this. As far as the prosecution, is it really just kind of like laying out the facts that are already there, or is there something that you guys still need to kind of?
Well, we don't know everything, right? Because they're keeping
Yeah.
everything. It's under such a gag order. We don't know the details of this crime. We only know just a little bit. And what little we know
They've got videos.
feels really
They've
good
got
for
GPS
the
data.
prosecution.
They've got
Which is what you want.
They've
I'm
got
not sure how
DNA,
they are.
yeah.
They've got DNA, so they've got a lot. It sounds like a lot of physical evidence to
Yeah.
pick up,
Certainly,
and probably
right?
more that we don't know about.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Well, in the gag order, kind of briefly explain that. That just means nobody can talk about the facts of the case, or what does that mean?
Or none of the evidence can be leaked. No one can talk about the facts of the case, the witnesses, the names. It's
Just the
everything.
ones
It's just,
within the trial, or I mean, you can't block what the general public is saying, right?
Oh yeah, they can comment on it, but they can't. The police and the witnesses and everybody involved, they can't go and speak freely to the press about it. I have a feeling he is tied to other crimes because we know that he got his master's degree back in Pennsylvania. I have a feeling there is something there that will tie him to some other crimes, and I think they're looking,
Yeah.
which is why they got the gag order in place.
I also just think they don't want.
And that's just purely just gut instinct. That's what I think.
You know how Alec Murdaugh's lawyers went on HBO.
And
They're
did a
not allowed to do
documentary.
this. They're not allowed to do that here.
Right.
Yeah.
They can't do HBO until it's over.
Oh, and I'm
Never
sure
good
they
when Your
will.
attorney goes on HBO and gives a whole different timeline that's
Before
contradictory.
your trial.
Before your trial, that's contradictory to all your statements.
Yeah, that's what the gag order means.
Well, we're going to follow this case. I have a feeling we'll probably live stream this case like we have the Alec Murdaugh trial. But yeah, lots of this. I mean, this case is huge, right? I mean, it's gone. The whole country has kind of gotten involved in finding out the details of this and what happened with it being such a heinous, crime that came out of nowhere, like you said, which is very scary because your mind can't wrap around why
Your biggest
and
fear
what.
is that you send your kid off to college and something horrible happens to him, right?
Yeah.
You work for that moment to be able to send him out into the world. For them to go to college and experience all the things that life has to offer, and then
When you hope that they make
And
good
this
choices,
happens.
but then this has something. It's
they made all
nothing
the
to do
right
with
choices,
that.
did all the right things, and this random guy comes along and just
Yeah.
For no reason.
makes me cry just thinking about it.
Stick with us, folks. We will keep you updated on this. And again, we'll let you know as the trial gets closer in June, kind of what's going on with that with updates. But let us know in the meantime if you have any comments or questions. We'd love to hear from you. You can visit us online at justiceslovely.com, or you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We're everywhere that you consume your social media. We would love to hear from you. We'll see you next time.
When life